Welcome everyone. I'm going to say good morning to Scots and people based in the UK, but I'm also going to say good evening to our friends in China, and also a hi if you're watching this on a recording on YouTube, because we will be putting this session on our YouTube channel next week. So welcome this morning to our session, which is on how businesses in China have rebounded and are rebounding from COVID-19 and coronavirus. I'm Richard Muir, Deputy Chief Executive of Glasgow Chamber of Commerce, and this is part of our now regular free webinar series. Today's event is in collaboration with Chongqing Investment Promotion Centre and their panelists, and we're going to hear how a variety of businesses have coped in various sectors, including manufacturing, hospitality, brewing, and digital creative industries. In a moment, I'll hand over to this morning's host, Alex Middleton in Chongqing. But first, the format is very simple. We have a panel discussion for 25 minutes or so, which Alex is going to moderate. And then we've got time for 15 or so minutes for question and answer. In terms of housekeeping, we're using Zoom, as you all know, this morning. Everyone will be on mute for the duration of the conversation. Please have your video on if you can. Our sound has been checked this morning and is working well. So if yours isn't, please check your Wi-Fi. For the question and answer session, please use the chat thread to raise questions. You'll see that if you hover over the icons. And we will get those questions to Alex, and he'll get through as many of those questions as possible. And we intend to finish as close to 11:45 as we possibly can. So over to you, Alex, in Chongqing.
That's great. Thank you, Richard. And yeah, thank you for everyone for joining as well today. Again, we'll really try to get through as many topics and questions as we can. And as Richard said, we'll have the 10-minute session at the end, and we'll try to cover as many of your questions as possible. So to introduce myself, I actually work with a company called CCS, one of my many jobs. We do digital marketing and social media marketing for British companies in China. One of our other clients is also the Chongqing Investment Promotion Centre, so I'm representing them as well today, and it's with them that we set up these regular webinars with the Chamber of Commerce in Glasgow. So to quickly just introduce the panelists who are joining us today, in the middle there is Ms. Gaomeng Ying, Agatha, who graduated from the University of Exeter and is now the Deputy Managing Director of Chongqing Paixing Technologies, which employs about 1,500 people in Chongqing, manufacturing products, including printed products and packaging, mainly for export to Europe and North America. From a manufacturing perspective, I think Agatha will have some interesting insights into how companies can continue operating as far as possible and also plan for post-lockdown recovery. To my right, we've got Mr. Ben Brown, who first came to Chongqing in the late 1990s, then returned in the early 2000s to establish a microbrewery, and in addition operates 3 pubs across the city. And I'm sure Ben won't mind me mentioning that he's also something of an internet celebrity in the region. So I think he'll have some interesting insights into not just how, from a business perspective, they continued operating as far as possible and recovered, but also how they harnessed social media to help to mitigate against the effects of the lockdown. And lastly, Mr. Kevin Chung, who's actually our China director with CCS. Kevin graduated from the University of Sussex. He's worked with the BBC before moving back to China to establish our Chinese digital creative and technical team. Kevin's worked with a range of clients from UK and American fashion brands to Chinese companies such as the Chinese automobile giant Chang'an. So that's our panelists today, and I think we can probably move very quickly on to our first questions. I think the first one we're going to hand over to Ben, and that's looking at how the food and drink sector in China has been managing during the virus, because obviously it was especially badly hit. And especially what are some of the strategies and processes that may be put into place to protect workers, and how did the sector ensure that food supply continued?
Thank you. Yeah, so our pubs completely shut down during the virus. We would have needed to get special permission to remain in operation, because when China was shut down, for example, our compound only allowed one family member to leave the house every third day. So I would have had to apply for permission for employees to go in and work the kitchens if we had wanted to at least continue operating on a delivery basis. We were also concerned that if we continued operating, our landlords might charge us rent. So there are a lot of smaller details that you have to take into account. But after the quarantine ended here in China, um, we waited about a week just to make sure that it wasn't coming back, and then we opened up again. We offered some fairly large discounts the first few days, and that brought a lot of people in. And we're doing some things like this coming Saturday, we're going to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, which I believe was close to a month ago, but we were shut down a month ago, so we're going to do it now. And we're just trying to figure out ways to promote the business and bring people back in. If we end up getting shut down again, should the virus come back, our plan is to continue marketing a delivery service. We've actually, about a week after we reopened, we set up a delivery service where people can order online through social media, and then we will contract with little guys on scooters in China that deliver food to your door wherever you are in the city. I'm not certain that that's an option in the UK. I know in the States, if you want to have delivery, you generally have to have your own delivery service. But it is something to think about if you get shut down, trying to figure out a way to have maybe skeleton crew of people that maybe have a lot of protective gear and move things from the kitchen to other people's homes, because people who are locked up are still going to want to eat, and some of them may not want to leave the house for groceries every third day. So restarting after the lockdown was ended, the main points, I guess, were we we tried to offer some big discounts to get people in. We tried to play towards people's desire to socialize in an environment that also our pubs aren't very large. So, in a place where there's only about 30 people gathered together, it's probably a little safer than if there's 1,000 people in a giant club. So, and then starting delivery services, because right now business isn't as good as it was before the lockdown. A lot of people still don't want to come out and socialize. So, so we're sending food out to other people and trying to convince people to come to us at the same time. And as far as workers are concerned, uh, China has left things fairly open. So we offered to pay about 50% of our employees' salaries for the time that we were shut down and nobody was able to work. We also explained to them when we reopened that we may have to pay them a little less than their normal salary at the end of the first month if we come up short. But that as business continues to improve, we will attempt to make it up to them. And everybody was agreeable to that. We also offered our employees uh, higher salaries and bonuses than most of the other F&B businesses from the beginning, from when we opened 2 years ago. So many of them had saved up a little bit and were able to weather the storm anyway. And because we're paying them more than a lot of places, they're more than happy to take a small cut in pay for a while we get back on our feet, because we've built a team that's very interested in working together to make the business successful, which I think is very important. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Ben. No, I think it'd be interesting to follow up with that. So you're talking about your workers taking a small pay decrease for the duration. It'd be interesting to actually just get your thoughts, Agatha, from your perspective, from a manufacturing perspective. how you handled that. Obviously, you've got a staff of 1,500 workers. So yeah, sort of scale-wise, a very different scale, but it'd be interesting to see from a manufacturing perspective how you dealt with that.
So we actually restart, I think, earlier than other businesses, because when government say that we can restart, the manufacturer is the first business to restart. So we restart at 10th of February. And before we do that, the government make sure that we have enough of protection work for all our workers. For example, we need to prepare them for the facial mask, and we need to come up plan of how we're going to organize them to eat separately, and how they will work with proper distance from each other. And I think that, but at the first beginning, it's quite hard work because there are many people, but also that all of our workers come back. And they have many reasons that they cannot come back, like that their compound don't allow them to leave, or they are quite far and all the traffics are shut down. So at the first month, I think during the whole February, that only half of our workers come back. So that kind of make the work a little bit easier. And then it just goes well easier and easier, you know. After a while, that everyone knows how to keep deep distance from each other. Everyone knows that they need to wear face masks, and everyone knows how to have lunch or have dinner in our restaurant. So it's okay now. And now all our workers come back, also because things kind of smooth down. So we don't have much trouble now. Yeah.
And I suppose, Kevin, I think if you want to talk from our perspective about issues like handling workers' salaries and things through the lockdown, and what would be your ideas based on your experience of managing things here in China?
Okay. Hello, everyone. Actually, my experience is quite different with these two friends, because okay, according to my industry, it's quite special. Because during this various periods, in like these 2 months, from January, like February, my industry is quite different because we're very busy, and we're very busy. We don't deduct the salary of our workers. We increase, we double them because we're very busy. Because our job is to help all our customers and all the brands and like shops and from downline. We help them transform the selling from downline to online. That's our job. So we can separate from different ways. So we can talk about one by one, just discuss. So we can compare what China is doing and what UK is doing. We can compare that, so maybe people can understand, more completely. Firstly, let's see, like food and beverage. We have many customers like in like restaurants and like Mr. Ben's pub and bar. So we help them to do the promotion online to increase the online selling by our KOL, because we have a lot of KOL teams under the company's manage. So we have different platforms like Douyin, TikTok, and like Kuaishou, and so on. Say like this kind of a platform in China, we have 3 to 5 platforms. So we have different KOL with different series of fans, and these KOL with different target fans. For example, let's say maybe Miss A, Lady A, and she have like 1 million of fans, but like 80% of his fans is like local people. And it's like between age 20 to 25 years old, like a young university students and like a young men, young girls. Okay, let's say Lady B, and she focus on like middle age. So maybe she's her content on the internet is quite different. Absorb, and she's specialized to absorb the interest from like middle, like my mother's age. So we will focus on we take use of these different KOLs with specialized group of the fans and followers, help the different kind of the customers to help them to promote their some product selling, like what we say, the pop. I will give example. You know, in the UK, I remember in UK we have many small pub on around the street. Yeah, very many, a lot of the pubs and bars on the street. So Sam, we also have many small bars, like 5 to 10 seats, yeah, very small size in around the street. This kind of bar, if you let them shut down for 1 month, they will shut down, they'll crash down. So it's very hard for them to survive. But we were trying to carry out some creative ideas for them to, you know, to operate. We have one example. We will give them suggestion. Let's say, use our KOL to make a video in the bar, and we can do the live stream online, and we sell the wine, and we sell the other product carried out by this bar. But this product must be have some creative and innovative, like you can just import some beer or some other wine product and you sell like, you know, like agent, you sell to the customer. You have to modify it in like with your own you know, something special. You know, like Mr. Ben's beer, that's different with Casper, different with Tiger, that's his own, right? So we just use our team and use our creative idea, use our creative videos, and use our, you know, like this like live stream platform to make the special point of the product to be exposed and to enlarge and expand. Then people think, okay, this product is good for my feeling now. And the point what they understand, okay, now we have 1 million people is drinking the same beer. Okay, I will be the one of them. So we can do some, you know, like we use DJ to live stream online. You know, 1 million people live in different house, but they are listening to one music. So through the platform, so we can help the wine selling. That is quite effective. But you can, of course, you can compare to the normal business. You can compare to the normal period when they're selling in the bar, but depends on this special period. It's good. At least it can help you to, you know, some cash flow, right? That's first type of the things we done for our customer. Now second type of things we do the second type of things we do the creative video, like very short, like TVC, like 15 seconds to 30 seconds, put in some channels like lift lobby advertisement in China. That's quite special in China. You know, in the UK we in the different house by house, like, you know, bungalow and mansion. But in China we live in the strata title, like many storage, many, yeah, tile block. So that's why we have the common area. We have plenty of the common area, like such as lift lobby. So we have crop media. That's our alliance company. So we work together to carry out some creative videos with very short times and to grab the people's interest when they ordering the delivery. Okay, today what I'm going to eat for my lunch, McDonald's or KFC. Okay, so they will think something will remind them of, because some advertisement, like very creative videos, can remind them of some products. So okay, I'm going to order this. So we use this way to like take advantage of these creative videos in the lift lobby to let these people refresh their memories and to increase their ordering rates on the, you know, like some delivering platform application like Deliveroo in UK. We call Meituan in China. So that one can help for this, you know, like operators or for this shop or restaurants and some. Okay, the third part is about the online shopping. So I think this we don't have to expand this topic. Yeah, but this online shopping, that means you know, some shopping mall shut down because of this virus. So we move their products online. We use a KOL then to like live stream, like what we're doing now. But like there are more and more. There are a lot of the viewers is in front of the screen. So like more 1 million, 2 million people because of this influence of our KOL. So we'll tell, okay, first product today we recommend. Okay, what's the advantage, disadvantage? Okay, and tell jokes and make some games. The most important is like you have to play with your viewers, and that they will feel, you know, something special. Yeah. And they can use Alibaba, and you know, we have more than Alibaba. like this kind of online shopping platform in China. So you take use of this kind of a platform. Yes, and then we combine the online live stream online shopping with KOL. So you can see all these shopping malls, the operator inside this shopping mall like Prada, Gucci, they are selling their products. They are not stopping.
That's great. Thank you, Kevin. That's brilliant. I just wanted to jump in with a question online that we got, which I think a few people have been asking about beforehand. Agatha, you mentioned about distribution, and is it still an issue both internally and externally? I think actually we had a few questions about this already from both as regards imports and exports, and obviously you mainly export. But what your thoughts are on the current situation with distribution and how quickly distribution returned to normal in China. I suppose, Ben, you're also in it's also an issue for your business as well. So I don't know if I could ask both of your thoughts on kind of distribution and buying, selling. Good, ladies first.
Okay, and actually so our business is affected for the February. So the sales of February is going down. But actually that on March we picked up because all our customers say like, okay, you owe us, you didn't deliver to us this, so you need to make it up. So it's actually come back. So we actually make it up on March. But now that with the overseas, that the situation goes worse and worse, so we are worried that maybe our export business will be shocked and will going down. So for now we are checking with all our overseas customers, says that will you cut our orders, how it's going to be. But actually we haven't got much answer about for certain that they will cut our orders. So we are like talk with them every day, but we still don't get fair answer that we will cut the order. So that everything goes for normal now. So but they are also, our customers also worried that maybe we will cut the orders, but now I cannot say. So yeah. Okay. So yeah. So I don't know yes. How it's going to be.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, but we have been very careful because everybody says that the economy will be bad. So we kind of like be very careful about investing anything and to hire more people. So we just want to stay where we are and to see how things going. Okay,
thank you. Our biggest problem, I mean, we don't have a whole lot of distribution, but supply chain wise, we had some issues. We shut down for 2 months, and when we opened back up, one of the things that happened in China was they basically shut everything down during the Spring Festival celebration, which means that and for people who aren't aware, Spring Festival is a major holiday in China. So roughly, I think it was about 10 days before, or actually a full 2 weeks before the start of Spring Festival, our grain supplier, grain and yeast and hops, they stopped shipping, and most of the shipping companies within China, the freight companies, they stopped shipping. And I literally missed the deadline to order grain by I think a half a day. If I would have ordered, and we were trying to order for an entire month so that we could make sure that we weren't short at the end of what we thought was going to be basically 10 days. And now it's been 2 months. So had we ordered that grain, we could have gone out to the brewery and started making beer a long time before everything opened back up, because there aren't any customers in the brewery. If you go out to the brewery and make beer, you're not spreading a virus and you're not at risk of getting a virus. So we missed an opportunity on that. That was a big miss for us, unfortunately. But so now we're just getting grain and getting started up on the brewing side of it again.
Great. Right. I think we'll, so there's a lot more questions coming through, but we'll take those in the final 10 minutes, if that's okay. So just have these questions I want to run through here. I think Probably wanted to ask each of the panelists, as regards new technology, things like artificial intelligence, 5G, any other innovations, anything that really struck you that was happening in China that was particularly interesting. I know we mentioned before about using, what was it? Using things like ATMs were using virtual technology, so you didn't actually have to touch the keypads. That's not across all of China. That was in very limited areas. But I don't know if there are any interesting innovations that you noticed through the period. What do you think? Do you want to hand out? I'd pass it to you, Kevin.
Hello. About innovation, I mean, yeah, innovation is quite important for all of us in different countries. I'll just share some like simple ideas first, okay? Because I want to pass this microphone to another two friends later. Because in my industry, we get touch with innovations and a new technology, very important for us. It's quite significant, especially 5G. You know, like 5G is quite good in China as well, because the very good basic infrastructure development very good in this country, and they're very fast. They're very fast now. So I'm still using 5G already. So we use 5G to do 360 like VR, the panoramic. Yeah, the panoramic view, the VR. Oh, yeah, VR. Yeah. Panoramic reality. Yeah, to to let people just feel something different, and to, like some experience online and on cloud. When they stay at home, they still can experience something that they can do at the past. So for example, like diagnose in the dentist, yeah, you can transfer the very big amount of the data through 5G, and we can use 5G to do like 360 videos. Use live stream in 4K by the 360 videos, like using yeah, I can give an example because I like to tell example. So last month we helped Chang'an. We helped Chang'an do the car selling on cloud. Yes. How we do that? We use like a 360 camera, but only 5G can support that, because that data is quite a lot of data. So 4G you cannot support that, and even Wi-Fi is not enough. So only we use 5G with like the VR camera. Let all the consumers and customers stay at home, use phone to experience what it looks like when you set in some new model of the car, and what's driving like, and use the 5.1 Dolby sound system to let them experience exactly what they experience in the real car. So we do that. We're doing that. We help Chang'an to order out 51,000 cars. The new model Kaichen is a pickup, is a new model this year. So that's quite helpful. This like 5G help us. So yeah, I can okay. Currently, I only think about this like a 5G. Yeah, I will still have like AI, like facial scan payment, like what you talk about. We don't need to touch anything. You just use your face. Okay, close to some camera and then scan. Like Alibaba already done that in all the 7-Eleven in this country. I mean, that quite helpful in the future and quite influence us very big.
Can I ask another question? Yeah. Sorry, it's actually just one more thing I think is interesting. Is you mentioned about, we're talking about the contactless payments. I mean, I suppose that's one thing that I don't know what everyone else thinks, but definitely in China, to me, my experience, it's far more like money free, currency free. So with everything being handled via mobile payments, there's just not that need to touch currency, which you then, I know when that is a big, if you're dealing with a pandemic, people handing banknotes to each other, handing coins to each other is potentially a spread. So I mean, that seems to be one big advantage that China had, was that it's pretty much cash free. Everything's pretty much mobile payments. Anyway, it's just a thought. I'll pass on to Agatha for your thoughts on any innovations that really kind of helped through the virus period here.
Well, for this question, oh yeah, we had all the meetings online. I think that's thanks to the all the Wi-Fi, the internet, so that allows us to. So we actually we start work like our office staff. We start work from the 1st of January, and we all work from home, and we have video calls to to discuss how we prepare for the restart, and also to communicate with our customers to say that how we're going to make the delivery to you. And also, I want to mention that we use this Tencent app, and it's used to be used to pay for it. But during this time, it goes all free for people to easily to work from home, and it's a quite good app. Thank you.
Last thoughts on innovation or tech innovations?
We didn't really have any. It's a pub. People still got to raise a glass to your mouth and drink. So I have nothing to add from what these two colleagues have added. So
yeah, that's great. I think the next one is now that businesses in China are returning to some kind of normality, what do you think will be some of the biggest challenges in the coming months? I suppose sort of from a like Europe, US angle, this is really interesting because I suppose we're about a month or 2 months behind what's happening in Europe and the US. This is actually quite interesting. And I think if we can add into that, one of the questions that I just saw online that somebody asked, and I think that was regarding, sorry about this, I'm just going to find the question. Yeah, so as well as that first question, how are businesses coping now we're getting over the lockdown and what are they doing? The other question was, which sectors actually would you say have been hardest hit here in China, including ones that probably where businesses really won't recover? Which ones have really struggled? We seem to have gone that way around every time before, so I'll hand over to Ben and we'll go that way. Yes.
Yeah, I think probably the hardest hit businesses in China from this are probably in the F&B sector. And granted, I'm in the F&B sector, but I think it's people, if you don't work hard to build some sort of a system for delivering food to your customers, the virus has ended, and a lot of our customers, put it this way, before the virus, about 90% of our customers were Chinese. Now, I'd say about 90% of our customers are foreigners. And that's because I think the craft beer culture is stronger in the West, and we serve Western food, American style pizza, hamburgers. And so people that want to have that come back to us. One of the things I noticed was that a lot of the main cuisine in Chongqing is hot pot, and a lot of the hot pot restaurants are full. The ones that were popular before the shutdown. Yeah, it's basically a giant wok in the middle of the table with a boiling, oily, incredibly spicy, soupy thing in it. It's like the Chinese version of fondue, but super spicy. And you put meat and vegetables and fungus and other things in it, and then dip it in some sesame oil with some crushed garlic. And it is really good, at least in my opinion. I absolutely love it. But and it's a huge thing here. So everybody, I mean, we went out less than a week after the shutdown ended. We went to my friend's hot pot restaurant. Of course, I have a friend who has a hot pot restaurant, and it was full. It was so full that my wife afterwards said, "We can't go to any more hot pot restaurants. There's too many people," because it was too crowded. So there's a lot of people that are unwilling to go out now because they're still concerned about the virus coming back, or maybe it not being completely gone. And I think that's something that other countries and other markets are going to have to go through as well. And businesses that were struggling to stay open before the virus hit, unless they have, again, planned a way to, deliver food to the customers, the other things that we're going to start doing, that we were planning on doing before, we're going to create a mug club where you can pay a small fee to get a larger mug than a normal pint mug. Our pint mugs are 400 milliliters, and so we're going to sell these 500 milliliter mugs that are slightly larger and fancier looking with a number on it. And you get your own mug, and so basically every time you have a beer, you're getting more beer than everybody else gets for the same price as a large beer. And that's to try and get more regular customers. And then we're going to start focusing more attention on having customers that are members, customers that regularly come to the bar, trying to figure out through social media and technology how to separate them out from people that maybe are tourists that come through town once every 5 years and go to our pub. So we want to try and find people that are showing up once or twice a week and find ways to entice those people to continue to come and support the business.
I might just have to just get quick because we only got, sorry, we've got 3 minutes. So this was actually one probably for Agatha or for anyone really who thinks they could jump in on this one. As regards government measures to help companies through the last few months, what would you say has actually been the most effective? From things like cancelling social security payments, things like that.
Oh yes, the government have done a lot to help us. So yes, so they canceled almost 80% of the social security that we need to pay for the insurance, social insurance that canceled, and also that our banks, which we have loan from them, and they postpone the repayment, so we can repay them 3 months later after that this thing's over, and also they deduct the interest that we need to pay for the loan. Other things that the government also there's been some documents say that they will cut down the tax, but we haven't get anything certain yet. Yeah, and also there's some allowance that maybe we can apply for from the government, but there's been some documents say that if you are having a hard time, that we will give you some allowance that you can apply for. But that's also not we haven't received the actual money yet. But that's been going on. That's what we will get from the government.
I am unaware of any assistance.
But
yeah, it's manufacturing. We are a very small business, so we're just lucky that we were able to get through it, and now we're trying every possible method we can to get more people to get back to normal.
I think we're just coming up on 40 minutes past. There was just one last thing, and then we'll hand back to Richard. Is it right to say the virus is finished in China, and will a test come when travel restrictions are eliminated? Yes, I think I would say that's largely true. Has anyone got any other thoughts? I think the key thing right now, I know there's quarantine in place for when you come in. If anyone coming into China now, I think it has
now
to.
Nobody's coming in.
No one's allowed it.
No one.
Oh, they stopped all travel in now.
As far as I know, right?
Yeah. Yeah. But I think one of the issues actually that a lot of them are, China's got so many overseas students coming into China, and a lot of them are wanting to return home now, and that's the work. I think they're the ones who are.
I heard that they're not allowed back either.
Oh, right,
I don't know.
They can come
They're
back,
allowed. They can come
but
back.
there are limited flights for them to come back.
Yeah.
So like only one flight for each airline for 1 day.
Yeah.
So that the airplane tickets have been very high. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but they are allowed to come back, but also they need to do, once they arrived, they need to do 14 days quarantine. Yeah, right after they arrived.
Right. Yes, I remember, Kevin, you had a friend whose son was studying at Cardiff University, whose parents were talking about chartering a private jet, weren't they? Sorry, we should keep this to 30 seconds because we will need to.
I'll make it very fast, guys. I got a friend, like he's Chinese, but he's studying in Cardiff University. That his parents asked me, Kevin, can you help my son to buy a, flight ticket?
Yeah.
It's very hard. It's very hard. Seriously, no matter how much, give me one. I go to check. Wow, 0.3 million, US dollar, US dollar, just for 300, 330,000, US dollar, and for only one business class, in the very big plane. So, and I tried my best to get that ticket, but I failed. That's really hard. So, but I heard from them they are safe in UK now. I'm very happy. Everybody is happy. Safe is UK is good to protect people as well now. It's everything supply is okay. Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool, right?
That's great.
Safe, that's cool.
Yes, absolutely. Right. So I don't know. So I think we're handing back to Richard for a quick wrap up now.
Great, thanks, Alex. Bang on time. So thank you for everyone for attending this morning and this evening in China. Particular thanks to Alex, Agatha, Ben and Kevin, and to the Chongqing Investment Promotion Centre. Thanks to you all for getting your questions in. If we didn't have time to get back to you on the particular questions that you raised, the team at the Chamber will come back to you with the answers to those questions. So thank you for that. I heard a lot today. Thanks, Ben, in terms of sending food out and the difficulties that the food and beverage sector have had. And we're finding exactly the same thing happening here in Glasgow and Scotland at the moment. And they are particularly badly hit at the moment. But we love your idea about having a St. Patrick's Day revival 3 weeks later. That's really innovative. And I like the sound of the Mug Club particularly. It's my birthday this weekend, so I'm going to have to join you on Mug Club for sure. Agatha, thanks for the contribution on the social distancing and on the logistics side of things and working from home. And Kevin, I love the idea of the DJ live streaming platform for the beer brands and also how 5G's helped. And again, there's some really valuable pointers there for us. I was in China before Christmas, and the facial recognition pay with Alibaba is fascinating as well. And I know that we're having difficulties in some of our shops at the moment with people having to wear gloves when they're handling coins and notes. So again, thank you for that. So in terms of today's event, this is part of a growing and regular series that the Glasgow Chamber of Commerce are putting on, and we'd like to get to the point where we're doing at least 3 of these sessions a week if we can. And I know Alan and the team are working very hard to put that in place. I should say that we have a session on Monday, which I'm very excited about. That's going to reflect on the Italian business response to the virus. And we've got 2 of our President's Network members who are going to be participating in the panel for us. So we've got Sharon Riley and John Stewart. Sharon is the managing partner of law firm Riley and Tesoro in Milan. I've had the pleasure of meeting Sharon, and that's great that she's going to contribute, along with John, who's also a Scot and is chairman of the airport handling company at Malpensa Airport. So it'll be fascinating to hear both of those contributions. Of course, our airline businesses are struggling at the moment, obviously, as well. So it'd be great to get their contributions. On Wednesday, we'll have a regular chat with our Chief Executive, Stuart Patrick. So that's an interactive Q&A session. And please, I would encourage you to look out for that on Wednesday at 3. And we're looking at a whole series, as I say, over the coming weeks, and are speaking to accountants, banks about access to finance, law, health and well-being issues, communication issues, and innovation as well. So there'll be a real mix of subjects coming up. But please email us in, tell us what you'd like to hear more of, what more we can be doing to help. We want to keep these as interactive and as informal as possible, but if you tell us what you're looking for, we will try our best to lay that on. So on behalf of Glasgow Chamber of Commerce, thank you again for attending. Please keep in touch. If you have particular challenges that you want us to address on a one-to-one basis, remember that we have the email address, which is resiliencesupport@glasgowchamberofcommerce.com. So please use that and let us know if you have particular challenges. And in the meantime, stay well and bye for now. And thanks for all attending. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Richard. Take care
Thanks
from
again.
Chongqing.
Yeah, thanks again, Alex. Thanks to the panel.